Hello everybody and welcome to Black and White Tales print number 23. This week, this is the image, this is the print. I took this image, I think in 2012, it was at the Frankfurt airport. I was waiting for a connection to the USA. And there are two or three things that I want to talk about looking at this image. Because the first is that we photographers are kind of lucky because we can do our job everywhere and we can find images and beautiful moments everywhere. So also a time that is supposed to just be bored and stay there and wait with nothing to do, just go around shopping or this kind of things, we can take out our cameras and have some fun, and create some art. So that's something that is fantastic and was the first thing I want to say about it. The second thing is that between 2012 and now, I noticed something that is very different. The smartphone technologies spread in an impressive way, and I was used traveling to be at the airport and start to interact with other people, start to talk with other people, and it was really great because I met some very nice people. I was able to apply what is the real multiculturalism, not that things that is told around to justify everything, but it's nice because in an airport you can meet people from all around the world, and so you can interact and become a better person. But in the last years, I remember 2017 was one of the last time I was in an airport, and everybody was there with their phone in their hands, just looking at their phones, just doing something online, sharing the moments on social media and all these kind of things. And it was almost not possible to have interaction with other people. I don't use smartphones, I don't like them. I still use a very old flip phone. And for me it was impressive because I saw from I was kind of outside, because when you get the camera you become you stop to be part of the scene, you become someone that is just observing. And it was impressive to see all these people together but all separate. And the people were there, they were communicating virtually with someone else, and they didn't communicate with the people just sitting on the side. And so this was the second thing that I wanted to say, that is kind of become pretty sad to see that now the part of the travel that is the actual moving from one place to the other is become not an active part of the travel. It's no more an opportunity to meet people and an opportunity to have new adventures if you want to go there, but is something that became just another moment to spend on the smartphone and on social media and these kind of things. So that was very sad. But the third thing that came to my mind looking at this picture and was actually the reason why I looked for this picture that I remember I took years ago when I was thinking to do this week video, is that this is a sector of our economy that now, thanks to COVID, is suffering a lot. Basically, all the flights were shut down, and still now is not possible to travel free between some countries. I hope that Europe will open the borders the 1st of July, as they said, but we were limited for months. And the air travel is a sector that is suffering a lot. But there's another thing that is kind of strange, that if we think about right now, we are communicating with all the world, but we are communicating just virtually. We are communicating using what are the social media and all the media, and we are not communicating in person because we are not able to move and connect and meet people. And the greatest experiences that changed my life deeply were experiences that I had traveling when I was in other places. The USA is one of them, and I met great people, and I was able to see the reality of a place that was not filtered by the media. Um, if you look at the media in Italy, there are so many ugly legends about the USA that is not the reality of the fact. And this is became impossible. It became impossible because flights were prohibited, first of all, and it became impossible because also now that we know that the COVID is actually going down, we know that the transmission between people without symptoms is very, very low. By the way, we know that airplanes are one of the safest places to be as health because the air filter systems and all these kind of things. And by the way, there's a beautiful video by Mentourpilot that explains how the air is filtered and everything is on the airplane. So it's actually one of the safest places. You can risk much more going to buy the groceries, or you can risk much more on a bus, on a train. And bus and train were never shut down. They continue to go around. So air travel had this problem. The perception of an airplane was one of the first terrible things that an airplane that will be sure COVID transmission. And this is understandable because actually the problem was that the airplane permitted people to travel long distances and so to bring the virus from one place to another, but that doesn't mean that when you are on an airplane with someone that is not without symptoms, you have more risk than in other situations. But this it's impressive because if we don't speak in person with the people, if we don't meet the people, if we just learn about other countries and other cultures toward the with the media and the social media, we become a crowd. And let me explain this. It's when you are in a place and you interact with a person, you are an individual. When you use a social media, you become a crowd. You start to act as a crowd. Everything comes out on the social media. If you talk, for example, about, I don't know, the healthcare, public versus private, and this is always a big debate, and the world is divided in two, and they just scream. It's a crowd that scream in favor or against, and there's nobody actually that think how it works in one place and another without their preconception. That's something that when I experienced the American system, I loved it. But if you read on the newspaper, on the social media, it's described as something terrible. But so that's all the things. And if we cannot travel, if we cannot meet, we are only social media, we became a crowd. And the crowd has social reaction that is totally different from the individual. A crowd, you can look on every social media, is ready to lynch people, is ready to be violent, is exactly as a crowd is in the reality. If you put a crowd, there's something that is great, that is a book about Le Bon, Gustave Le Bon, to not confuse with Simon Le Bon, but the Duran Duran, but Gustave Le Bon wrote some centuries ago a book about the psychology of the crowds, and he used the French Revolution to explain that. And if you look at something as the French Revolution, a crowd was able to do terrible things that probably the individuals were not ready to do. If you get a crowd and tell a crowd you have to lynch that person because there's something wrong, probably the crowd will do it. Also, if the single individual composing the crowd would have opposed an order like that. So we are becoming a crowd, and the fact that every time there's a problem, the first to be accused of something wrong are the airlines. It can be for something like virus. In this case, it was for the environment. The airline were the first to be accused to pollute the air and all these kind of things. But the airline are the first target, and they are the first target because if we don't fly, if we don't talk with each other, we are limited to the social media to know the world. And the social media is filtered, and the social media it's making all us just a crowd, ready to scream and lynch everybody else. There's no dialogue, there's no rationality of the process. But if we are meeting in person, usually we will learn, we will interact. So this is the thing. And this said, yeah, I miss to travel. It's something that I really miss this. And I don't just miss to travel to be in another place. I really miss to be in an airport. I miss the mood of the airport, to see all the people with different projects, with different goals, with different destinations, from different places, all together with a purpose to travel. So that's something that I really miss. And that's all for this week. So thank you for watching. As usual, please check my image down there in the description. There's the link. You can check the image directly on my website, so you can see it much better. As usual, if you like the video, please put a like, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. This said, keep creative, stay free, and have a lot of fun.